World of T-Shirts, Joshua Block, recently completed a sober week. Now, he did this without medical supervision, which was dangerous as someone who potentially had an addiction to alcohol, because alcohol withdrawal, along with withdrawal from benzodiazepines, can kill you. I do not state this as medical advice. This is just knowledge that many people have. I have it because, as you know, I am an alcoholic, and I've been sober for 2 years and a couple months, 2 years, 2 months at this point. So I know that because that affected me. And with that, I knew that after I stopped drinking, I realized afterwards that, oh, I could have had seizures and died, and I may have actually had delirium tremens. So Josh was sober for a week, and at the end of the week, he got really excited that he could start drinking again, and that worried me, that would happen. And it appears that he picked up a felony in uh, Los Angeles. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some stuff that happened in LA, and then we're going to talk about it. So, Josh, coming up in a second. I do want to state that the following content may contain images and language that some viewers may find offensive. This language and this is shared for documentation purposes. I do not endorse the speech made here. I do not endorse any hate towards the creator or anything like that. It is just being shared for documentation purposes and also for commentary purposes, which are expressly allowed by YouTube community guidelines.
For our own documentation purposes, they're all exploiting us.
Listen, no, Josh, listen to me. Stop, listen. Calm down and listen to me.
Motherfucking immigrant, bitch! Where's your hijab? Where's your hijab?
Don't say it.
It's against the law.
Josh, don't say shit like
It's
that.
against the law.
Josh, stop. Josh, stop.
To walk around without
Josh,
a
stop.
hijab,
Josh,
Muslim.
stop. Josh, I know this. They won't stop.
Oh,
Stop. Stop.
I said no, put the fries. I said no.
I can't see.
Put the fries in the bag.
I can't see.
Get them, bro.
I can't. How'd you find me?
Josh, stop it, Josh. Stop it.
Phone.
Oh, listen, just stop. Stop, Josh, just sit down.
Josh, calm
Josh, sit down. Sit! Now! Now! Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up now!
Stop
Now!
yelling.
No, you shut the fuck up now! You took it too far! Now! Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
I don't like you anymore. You're not my friend anymore.
He's a good guy. These
You're not
people
my
are the
friend
bad
anymore.
people. Fuck all of you.
You fucking immigrant bitch! You illegal!
Josh! Sit!
Josh, lock in! Lock in! Josh, lock in with me! Josh, lock in with me now! Josh, lock in with me now! Stop! It's okay, bro. Just stop. Just lock in with me. Stop. I got you, Josh. I got you.
Help! Help!
Yeah, Josh!
Stop, Josh, stop. Come on, Ross.
Sit down! 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 Sit down!
It's not going to make it better. Give him space. Give him space.
So what I believe happened was somebody in the crowd or somebody earlier had said, put the fries in the bag to Josh. And I know somebody in the car said something, he threw the water bottle at them. I don't understand why he assumed that the people were immigrants or Muslims. They may or may not be. I don't assume that anybody is a certain religion or an immigrant based on anything. And I honestly don't care unless we're like talking about religion, or it happens to be like, hey, we're talking about our homes, and you're like, yeah, I'm from Poland, I'm from Mexico, I'm from Canada, I immigrated here, and we're talking about that, and it's just like that. Then that's just cool, that's getting to know somebody, but like, I don't care about immigration in terms of like the way that a lot of people do. With that being said, Josh flips out, he starts screaming, you immigrant fucks, and telling people that it's illegal not to wear a hijab. One of the comments on either this video or one of the other videos said that Josh is entering his Sharia law arc, and I thought that was rather interesting. Possibly offensive, I don't know. I'm not Muslim, so I can't say. But I do find that a very interesting comment because, yeah, I could see Josh doing that, and that's something I can see having happened. Now, the bad thing here is that Josh continued to react. And because Josh continued to react, the other people continued to egg him on. And as they continued to egg him on, the reactions continued in a negative feedback loop. No, a positive feedback, in a feedback loop, where essentially the more you react, the more people egg you on, and then the more you react, and it's a, positive feedback loop. And because of that, Josh reacts further and further and further. And I do think it's wrong to go and tell Josh to put the fries in the bag or mess with him like that. What I liked about this was that Tony told him to sit down and shut up, and that he had taken it too far, because Tony has been accused of exploiting Josh. Tony's been accused of giving Josh drugs in the past. I don't know if there's any proof of that. I'm not going to speculate, but I do know that there have been accusations of that. And Tony told Josh to sit down and shut up, and that he'd taken it too far, which I do believe Josh had taken it too far in this situation, and Josh needed somebody to tell him that. And Tony is acting like a person who wanted Josh to not have that happen, to not have something happen, and because of that, I think Tony did a good job. It feels like Tony might actually be getting sick of dealing with Josh because of the whole situation with a potential felony. I believe the next video will talk about or show Josh actually getting arrested. I have to double check because there's also a video of him saying some stuff about his grandpa. Apparently, either his grandpa or Mayor Flanagan bailed him out, or Mayor Flanagan was his representative attorney, and his grandpa bailed him out. I'm not 100% sure on the timeline, but I do know that there are charges filed against him in the state of California, in Huntington Beach. He's had interactions with these police officers before, and I don't think they like him. So what we have here appears to be Josh kicking Tony, which I don't think Tony would have pressed charges here, but he fell, and he appears to get up. We got the Trump impersonator who's with him, and then he just sort of goes over, and it looks like he just kicks a random lady. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Really odd. So if you remember, it was maybe last August or September, Josh did something similar to this. He got I think it was a Dom Vertucci TTS, and that led to him crashing out, and because he crashed out, he ended up kicking a random lady, calling somebody the N-word, and stomping on a random car. And he got no punishment for that somehow. I don't know how. I really genuinely don't know how that happened, but yeah. So this is kind of similar to that incident, and the woman who he kicked here decided to press charges, and that's well within her right. She's well within her right to press charges for assault and battery, because you cannot just go around hitting people. Now, if you walk by somebody and you brush them, and they press charges on you for assault and battery, that's ridiculous. Because, you're going to go to court, the judge is going to be like, this is dumb, get out. But if you walk up to somebody and kick them, or punch them, or make them fear for their lives in any way, the judge is going to be like, yep, okay, let's go to trial. Jury will look at the evidence and decide what's going on, and you might go to jail with a felony. And you don't want to go to jail with a felony, so the best way to avoid going to jail with that particular felony is to not do that. Now, I will say that I think that Josh being drunk directly contributed to him deciding to do this. I do know that Josh is autistic, and because he's autistic, when he's drunk, just like non-autistic people, his inhibitions and his judgment are not as good as they should be. Now, as an autistic person, he may not fully understand social cues. I'm autistic, and I have a hard time with some social cues, but I know not to assault people, because I know that's a rule, and I also know that if it happens to me, I don't feel good, so I don't do that. But yeah, it's not something that he can use as an excuse of being autistic or being drunk if he has to go to court. I do believe that he is going to have to go to court. So right now he's probably stuck in California for a while, which means that Tony is probably going to have to spend more money on hotels and Airbnbs. Remember, Tony's from St. Louis, which St. Louis, I believe, has, St. Louis obviously has a lower cost of living than LA. LA, I think, has the first or second highest cost of living in the country after either right below New York or right above New York, or tied. So Tony's going to have to spend money on that, or Josh is going to have to spend money on that. And then, of course, they're going to have to potentially spend money on lawyers, because I don't know if Mayor Flanagan's eligible to practice law in California. There are some states that have reciprocal bar licensing, like I believe New York and California do, Massachusetts and New York do, so Massachusetts and New York and California probably all do, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And if Flanagan doesn't want to go to California, what's he going to do? So Josh is just going to have to wait and deal with this criminal case. And the woman is going to potentially be able to also sue him in civil court, but for like emotional suffering and medical bills if he has any. But if she's just happy to go to criminal court, Josh has the other problem of going to jail. You can't stream in jail. You can't really get on the computer in jail. You can watch TV. And there's one guy I follow on here, he says you get like 20, 25 channels in jail, and you don't get any streaming. So, like, what are you going to do? It's one of those things where you got to, like, think about it, and it's like, no! So I'm really worried for Josh's well-being with the fact that he did this. And I'm also sorry to the woman who he kicked. I do not think that that was something anybody deserves. Nobody deserves to just be assaulted randomly. And I am hoping that she and Josh have justice. Whether that's Josh going to jail, Josh reaching a settlement with her, whatever the courts, whatever the criminal justice or civil justice system decides, I do hope is something that works out for both parties to have an amicable settlement and never have to see each other again. Does that make sense? I'm sorry. The way that I worded that might make it seem like I'm sympathizing with Josh, but I'm not. I just believe that everybody has the right to due process and justice, and that's just a thing. Even if you definitely committed the crime, you deserve your day in court, unless you want to plead guilty and be like, yeah, I committed that crime. The guy I know didn't have health insurance, he needed cancer treatment, so he robbed a bank for $1, waited for the police to come, went to jail, went to court, pleaded guilty, and then he got his cancer treatment. He got due process, which he was allowed to go to court. He decided to plead guilty, but Josh deserves due process, just like every single person does. Due process is something I believe is a human right.
My grandpa's the one that got me out of jail. I'm a recovering alcoholic that drinks in moderation. To be honest, my grandpa can be helpful, but he's also snotty sometimes.
Not good. No, he's not. Take that back, Josh.
He yells at me if I have more than a drink or two.
That's what he cares about.
I'm 23 years old.
I know, but
23-year-olds party on Saturdays.
You've probably been out there before.
So you went out and had a drink while I was rotting in Newport jail.
Oh, no. I was talking about before.
Before I got arrested.
I didn't have.
Were you drinking while I was in jail?
No, I didn't have a sip.
Oh, so you weren't having a good time while I was rotting in there?
No. Least favorite stim years, not gonna lie.
I'm ashamed to be an American where I know that I'm not free.
So let's say hypothetically I got arrested and my grandparents or my parents bailed me out of jail. I would say thank you and then not do the thing that got me arrested again. I wouldn't call them snobs. I wouldn't get upset that they were upset with my drinking. When I was heavily drinking, my parents actually did get upset with that behavior. And I was like, I'm an adult, I can do my what, blah, 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 a lot of what Josh does. I was 27, 28, 29, somewhere in that range. Not 100% sure, because I don't, like, it's a blur. It's really a blur of when I was drinking and when I was drinking heavily. I know when I stopped, that was April 5th, 2023, which was really good for me. But Josh calling his grandpa a snob and being upset that his grandpa basically says, hey, stop drinking, you need to stop this behavior, after literally the behavior landed him in jail and Grandpa bailed him out, is upsetting to me. It bothers me because you need to like actually appreciate when people do that for you. You need to appreciate when people go ahead and help you out. You need to appreciate things. If somebody walked up to me and said, here's $100, I'd say thank you. Somebody said, here's $10,000 because you went to jail and bailed me out, I'd say thank you. One exception, and that's if I worked at a restaurant and I had the closing shift and I got arrested to get out of working, which has happened to employees before, and then the managers just went and bailed me out of jail. Then I'd say, really, dude? Now I can't even quit the job. There have literally been times where I've been working like at the host stand and I'd get a call. Thank you for calling the restaurant. They'd be like, hey, this is so-and-so. I got arrested. Can you let chef know I'm not coming in? I'd be like, yeah, hold on. And I'd walk back in the kitchen. Yo, chef, so-and-so's on the phone. He's not coming in. He's at the holding center. He got arrested. The chef would be like, yo, Sue, hold it down. And then go up to petty cash, take out the money, and go down and just fucking cash bail the dude out. It happened like 4 times when I've been working at restaurants because, like, you need the staff. Hey, kitchen staff, you got to ask them if they've been to jail. Dishwasher interviews, I learned this. You ask one question, jail or prison? Because if they went to prison, they're going to be better at doing dishwashing than if they went to jail. Which is interesting, but it's true. It's true. But this really bothered me about Josh being like, Grandpa's a snob. Interesting, Tony saying that he has a least favorite stim of Josh's. I understand that when you have stims, like for example, like I'm stimming here with this rocking back and forth, that might upset people. And that's okay. But I can't believe Josh did the I'm ashamed to be an American stim after getting arrested on the 4th of July. Like, yeah, there are a lot of things about America that might not be great that we're trying to improve. There's a lot of things about America that are great. Like, one of those things is you can assault a woman and have due process, and you're not going to just get executed. You're going to go to court, and they're going to look at the evidence, and then after proving if you did it or didn't do it beyond a reasonable doubt, they'll have a verdict, either from a judge or a jury of your peers, depending on how you choose to be tried. And then, depending on the verdict, you'll either be go home or sentenced to probation, jail, prison, something like that. That's something great about America. Due process is great about America. Oh, and he did it, and while he's awaiting trial or settlement or anything like that, Grandpa spent a bunch of money to bail him out of jail. And I don't think Josh's grandparents are rich. Like, I think they have, like, you know, a decent nest egg, but not enough to just spend all their money on bailing their grandson out of jail. Because, like, my grandparents have a decent nest egg. They don't have the money to bail me out of jail all the time. Nor would I want them to, because I don't want to go to jail. But that bothered me. That really bothered me. Anyway, World of T-Shirts is back to drinking, and unfortunately, he is back to the behaviors that get him in trouble. And because of that, we need to make sure that we try to avoid making it so that those behaviors become worse, because as those behaviors become worse and they escalate, he can do things that lead to him ending up in prison. If you remember, Daniel Larson, I believe, threatened to blow stuff up, and that's something that just cannot work. And I'm hoping that Josh understands that the behaviors he's exhibiting need to stop. Thank you for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram at Sammy54362, Samantha P54361, TikTok at Sammy5436, and Sammy54361. YouTube here on this channel, as well as the 3 other channels linked in my channel. You can follow me on Patreon at Sammy5436. I'm also on the Blue and White side at Sammy5436. I'm on Cameo at Sammy5436. And I'm on Twitch at Sammy5436. All of those things are free except Patreon, the Blue and White site, and Cameo. Cameo is $7. Patreon is $1 because right now all you're getting is the Mariners recap about 12 hours early, except after day games. And on the Blue and White site, it's $5.99 a month, and I generally try to do at least 2 posts per week, for a total of at least 8 per month, with potentially doing more depending on what is going to happen over the next few months with everything. And I do appreciate all the support from everyone, so thank you very much.